Hello, dear friends. I'm Elham Hussein. I welcome you to my session. And today I like to discuss hegemony, a term which we usually encounter while learning or while exploring colonial and post colonial theories. Hegemony, initially a term which refers to the dominance of one state within a confederation, and it is now generally understood to mean domination by consent. So, domination by consent. This is not absolute domination. This is not domination by force. This is domination by consent. And this very term was made very, very popular, widely popular in 1930s. And it was made popular by Italian Marxist Antonio Gramsci, who investigated why the ruling class was so successful in promoting its own interest in society. Actually, hegemony works through negotiation. Dominance is associated with force, and hegemony is associated with consent or consensus or dialogues or negotiation between two parties. And the difference between dominance and hegemony is very powerfully mentioned or demonstrated by Ranojit Guha in his book Dominance Without Hegemony. It has got a subtitle, History and Power in India. This is the subtitle of this book, and this book was published in 1997. In this very book, Ranojit Guha, who was also influenced by Antonio Gramsci, showed the differences, the nuances between dominance and hegemony. So, dominance is usually kept working with in association with cruelty, brutality, force, oppression, or tyranny or persecution. And on the other hand, hegemony works in a very subtle way. And while hegemony works, the party on which it works thinks that it is exercised on them for their benefit. So the party, that is the power structure, which usually exercises hegemony upon the people out of the power structure, they create a situation, and the party on which it is exercised begins to think that it is exercised upon them for their benevolence, and that's why they do not usually pose any kind of resistance, or they do not usually demonstrate any kind of protest, or they do not usually develop any counterforce. And hegemony usually works in a multifarious ways, and it's not monolithic. It's polyphonic. It has got also heteroglossic nature. So it talks or it speaks, it functions in various ways. For example, while the British colonizers colonized this Indian subcontinent and exercised their power upon the people here, and while they decided to control the people here and exploit our resources, then, for example, they introduced English literature in our educational institutions. So, after reading English literature, we started thinking of becoming like the English people. We started trying to imitate their culture, their practices, their ethics or ethical stance, and their manners. For example, while reciting Robinson Crusoe, A person may think that he will be Robinson Crusoe one day. So, what does it mean? It means that he is automatically, without any protest or question or any critical stance, he is receiving everything of the culture of Robinson Crusoe. He is imitating Robinson Crusoe's uh, activities, Robinson Crusoe's behavior, or his enterprises. And in this way, he is transforming himself into a mimic man. And we know that mimicry is a very popular term that we usually find with Homi Bhabha's theory, post-colonial theory. Mimicry. That is, we are turning into mimic men. That is, we are imitating their culture and just otherizing ourselves. We are becoming not like our ancestors, or not like us, we are becoming like them. This is a transformative process. That is, the process of hegemony usually transforms the party which usually receives it without any question. So that's why when we think that we will be Robinson Crusoe, we are trying to become the mimic man. We are mimicking the manners, culture, customs, behavior of the colonizers. So in this way, neo-colonial situation is gradually being created. But if we give a contrapuntal reading to Robinson Crusoe, contrapuntal, this very term was used by Edward Said, one of the pioneering scholars of Orientalism. So if we give a contrapuntal reading to this text, that is, if we make a counter reading of this text, or if we question Robinson Crusoe, and if we think of Friday, whom Robinson Crusoe rescued from the cannibals, and after the rescue, Robinson Crusoe usually sat on a stone just like a king, and Friday was sitting at his foot and he was kissing his foot. Not only that, Robinson Crusoe was naming him. He gave him a name, that is Friday. So naming, branding, all these are colonial practices and the parts or ingredients of hegemony. So if we become critical, then we may not imitate their cultures. As we are not critical, it is not because of our ignorance, it is because of the way they convince us. And that's why hegemony becomes more successful than dominance. So, in this way, uh, English literature also works as a tool of hegemony or hegemonic tool. So while reading the text from the West, we have to be critical. Otherwise, we have chances to be recolonized. For example, globalization. If we take it without any critical stance, or if we unquestionably accept it, then we have chances to be recolonized. And many people have started calling it recolonizing process or mission. Globalization is a recolonizing mission. So, in this way, hegemony never becomes inactive. It always keeps working in different ways, in different forms. It has got multifaceted masks. At different phases of history, it puts on different masks and it keeps working. So, the people the from the spaces or from the places or locations which were previously colonized should have critical approach or attitude to whatever epistemic ingredients come from the West. For example, cyber technology, or for example, pedagogy, or for example, literature, epistemology, theories, philosophy. We have to receive it critically. We must be global citizen. We must be cosmopolitan. We must uh, hold the whole world. We must be global. But at the same time, we have to be local. We have our root. We have our rich history and heritage and culture. We have our very rich linguistic diversity. And if we forget all these things and imitate the ingredients provided by the West, which was once colonizing power, then hegemony would control us. We will not be able to form our own identity. Our identity will be formed by the West. So, this is the benefit of learning uh, post-colonial theories. So learning post-colonial theories does not mean only developing capacity to read our text. It means to develop consciousness about our own self, about our own history, culture, heritage, and identity. So this is all about my today's session. Thank you very much to be with me.